things. It's like managing a small business, I suppose. You have to be on top of things and be thinking forward. Finding a leadership style, if one's just starting out, super important. Find a leadership style and stick with it, right? If you're being a so-and-so, perhaps adapt a bit. If someone gives you a kick in the whatnots, and you fix it, you know what I mean? But you need to find a leadership style, and some people have that, some people don't really. We all have different styles, but find it, be consistent with it is the thing, right? Don't do for player A what you wouldn't do for player B, this kind of crap. Where you get singled out, you get found out, and stuff like that, right? Treat everyone fairly and with respect, right? Be consistent. I like to think you would also lead by example, okay? I was pretty fortunate in my young days to be around and be acquaintances of great pipe band leaders of their time, right? One pearl I got off of Ian McLeod, Pipe Major Ian McLeod, Edinburgh Police, 70s. I knew the family quite well, and one thing he said to me always stuck with me was, never be one of the boys. Does that make any sense? So, it would be very rare, I know it was a big win or something, party with the boys. Yeah, I would go to a party, but you were never one of the boys, you know what I mean? You were just a little bit different than that, right? It was not easy for you to do that, and it was kept a little bit of distance and a little bit of respect. Really hard, I think many people have partied with the boys, and then you try to turn the switch on, the intensity switch, and it doesn't work. So there's a little bit of arm's distance, arm's length, that can be found, I think, where you can be more effective. I'm just not being so anxious to be one of the boys. They're not your friends, they're your players, you know? They become your friends after 20 years, right? But they're your players. And respect goes both ways. That's my feeling on it anyway. Planning, that I see in the middle of the slide there, that it be long-term, right? Long-term. You would have goals that would range from 1 year to 5 years to 10 years, right? I'm not going to bore you with what those could be. We could discuss it, but I would be thinking definitely 5 to 10 years out. Let me tell you why. Number one reason, because I think a young player takes 5 to 10 years to become the player he's going to be. It's not a 1 year thing. Some kids are wonder kids. Okay, I get it, but it can take, on average, like it can take a piper to really become a piper, 10 years. It's right out there. This is not a 2-minute thing, right? It takes time. So be thinking way out. You want this player to develop on the 5 to 10 year mark. You want to have that player at its peak, right? You need to think way out. What are the goals going to be for all sorts of different things? Projects, technique, talent, tone, music, whatever, right? And that the planning, never be result-oriented. We're going to win the Worlds this year. We're going to qualify for the Worlds this year. We're going to be in the top 6 this year. These are bad goals, I think. These things come. All going well, these things come, especially if you're patient. It must feel in New Zealand like patience is required a little bit. I think you're patient people. I think we are as well. You've got to have it. And to be honest, in some of the performances yesterday, I felt like that the top was right there with the very top in other jurisdictions, other countries. I really, really did. I thought that would be the case. I got to be honest, I said that. I'm expecting a good contest here. I just have a feeling that maybe there's even more kind of competition happening here, and that the level is just going to bump up here. And well, that was affirmed for me yesterday, that there are bands that are well on track here to do damage, you know, and to be the best. No problem, you know, and just be patient, let it happen. But that the goals be more kind of work-related, right? Not result-related. Things that you control. MSRs is a focus. Attacks, drone sounds, Shannon sounds, intonation, music, things you can control, breaks, special effects, extra lessons, private lessons, things you can really adhere to and really encourage. Okay? That be that way and not be so worried about the worlds and the results, certain results at worlds. If it's going to happen, it'll happen, right? I never, ever once had a judge in my pocket, I can tell you, for a fact, right? If it was either going to happen or wasn't going to happen. I didn't know these guys. I didn't want to know these guys. I just wanted to play, right? If it's going to happen, it's going to happen. Patience, yeah? It's all good. Planning for product, super important. Knowing what product you want to play, but also that you're willing to try products and you want the best, right? You don't know if it's better until you try it. Now, sometimes people are too impatient with that, and they're always, trying the latest thing in binning stuff and this and that. But whether it's sound or appearance or whatever, go for it. Go for having the best. You've got to know. Yes, sir.
Can you elaborate a little bit on appearance?
What sense? I mean, I've got a comment here. Look good equals feel good equals play good. Okay?
Yeah.
Simple as that, right? I mean, I certainly didn't see it much this past weekend, but some bands come out like they look sharp. They look ready for business. Jump to the line, you kind of get an impression, But I think have a clean look that you want to have, and you want to have good stuff, and don't cut too many corners. That's where I'm coming from there, right? Look good, sound good, have good, invest money where you can find it into people, into product. Will pay off at the end of the day, I think. I always found special projects to be super motivational, right? For me, projects were concerts. We got into the concert thing mid-90s. Never forget, in our first concert, which became an album live in America. I think we call it Alive in America. Is that right? Yeah. Chicago. And that really got me fired up for concerts, because the American people generally, and people around Chicago, they're absolutely insane. They're just crazy. So we hadn't played a note, and the place was like, was buzzing, electric. It was the weirdest concert, because we actually didn't have a stage, didn't have wings. It was just a stage, period. We had to come down the aisles onto the stage in darkness, Really bad, really old, ornate, kind of beautiful theater, but not really conducive. This became one of those albums, but our first big concert. We're going to do 2 hours. What are we going to do? This was massive for us in '96, right? And that became other things, and so projects became huge for us. Tours, concerts, albums, things that you could really dangle to get players, take the bit, You got them, because now we're going to go to New Zealand. Whatever. We're going to go to Carnegie Hall. That was massive for us. To be the first band to play Carnegie Hall was huge, right? It was the best place of all time, got to say it. It was my least favorite hall. But it was interesting, and it was Carnegie Hall. You were in the room, the conductor's room with the grand piano, and warm up, and it was pretty cool. Gotta say. But these things also create sort of bonding. And this is when you have a little bit of fun, right? This is when the guys have fun. Traveling, trips, projects, right? Lots of work, lots of fun. And everything as a team, right? Everything's as a team. Of course, in the old days, you always traveled together. Not so much now necessarily, right? There are so many airlines and this and that and the next thing, and people's agendas, that you often get to the worlds on your own. You know what I mean? A little less of that. But once you get there and you get situated, it's still good to have the team together, right? We always had, band dinners and rookie speeches and things, things that you'd have fun with, right? Big deal. Really great. Yes, sir.
The long-term goals is it part of your leadership to make sure that people in the band know what these goals are, these shared with the band and kind of held out there as the,
I would say so, yes,
Okay.
generally. You want them to know clearly that
where we're going?
where we're going.
Okay.
Here's what I see, or here's what we see. Maybe you have a management team, right? I'm sure lots of you do, but here's the plan. Well, 5 years out, here's what we want to do, right? It's very easy just to not have a plan and just go year to year on year, and it gets a little bit rudderless after a while, right? A little bit directionless. Try to focus on something, and hopefully it's more than just going to the Worlds. We're all guilty of that. Going to the Worlds thing is what all it is, right? And that can be a little bit limiting. Set the sights a little bigger. I think there are bigger things. I think sustaining something for decades is a bigger goal than going to the Worlds. Making something last. Is that old-fashioned? Don't. Come on. No. Making something last, right? Leave your mark. You know, not about 1 year. It's about 10 years, 20 years, whatever. Right? That's what it became for me. I didn't know what, as I said at the beginning, I had no idea what I was getting myself into. Had no goals. Just like, well, yeah, I'll give that a try. And it became different as you went, right? Okay. And you start to have a little bit of success. It's like, no, okay. You do that, and you work at it, and you make it last. Is a bigger thing, I think. And so, Brian, we're going to go to the next one here. Percussion, right? The other guys, right? Often ignored, often, how would you say? What would you say, Paul? I don't know.
Ignored's perfect.
I mean, you accused me of, I mean, you know, you were quite happy to sit at the back of the bus, back of the tent. I don't know, and it's just not necessary, you know? But it was at one point. You know, the drummers were tend to be a little different to work with. Let's be fair. Let's be fair. They are a bit different. They're a different breed. We all kind of know that, don't we? Come on. They are something else, right? Reed Maxwell, my guy, was something else. Right? He was something else, man. A handful, you know? That high, that wide, and big handful, you know? Getting the drummers involved right early is good. I explained about music that having, Reed, for example, really interested in the music was huge for me. And I would say I've had more help from Reed than I have from many pipers I've ever had, which is interesting, right? I often had Jack Lee, right, my brother, super accomplished player, blah, blah, blah. Not that interested in the music. He's one of these black and white guys. He never would have done the job, ever. He never wanted the job, but he has no grade, none, right? So he has no grade musically, really, either, I think. He just kind of says, right, this is the right way. I mean, he might suggest a tune now and then, like it will be something massive, right? Something big, with all sorts of stuff in it, right? That's him. But I got way less help from Jack Lee, for example, than Reed Maxwell. Okay, but I might have had a couple of really talented young players, and laterally my son Alistair is a very creative type of person. People like this have been really, really good. But they're into different things and different music and playing instruments, and super cool. So a lot more energy now from some of the young guys now, but earlier days, no. It was like Reed and I, and maybe someone joined us, but that was about it. That was our team, right? Some bands are a little more fortunate. They have maybe 3 or 4 guys. I suspect that's how the FM does some things. I know that's how Inverary does things. For example, now they have 4 guys. Boom. Steve McWhorter's one on 3 pipers. It's roughly 4 people come up with some pretty great ideas. And the team is great. When you do get a team, it's like, wow, that's awesome. They come at things from a completely different perspective that you never would have thought of. So one idea is dwarfed by several greater ideas, right? Wow, that's enough. I like that, And so percussion, keeping them involved, right from the get-go, super involved. The last thing you want is a grumpy lead drummer, Paul. Because if you don't buy into the music that I like early, it's never ever going to work. So when we brought music forward, we were kind of a lecture hall kind of environment, which was super cool. We put stuff up on overheads and pipes out, never changed, just pipes, boom. Try it, you know, maybe you send it to them in advance, and now you have all the communication tools that you can possibly want. Send it to them in advance, have them at least be conversant with the melody, with the thing. Some people can't read music, I get it, never could, whatever. Send it to them, be conversant with it. Try it as a pipe corps, try it with drummers, and say, it's not gonna work. I would never beat our heads against the wall to make something work. If Paul came to me and said, that doesn't work for me, I would go with it. Bin it, for sure. And hopefully he would have come early on with that, right? And the trial wouldn't even be necessary. That's for me. So if Reed didn't like something, gone. If I didn't like his idea, gone. We had to be unanimous with it. And, you know, sometimes that was a little frustrating, right? We didn't want to play something, but, you know, usually work it out, and it usually was better. And if you can't write to it, what's the point, you know? You've got to be on the same page here. So, communication, you know, with the corps, getting them involved right away. Even if they don't have the scores for things, get them in the hall listening to the tunes. You know? Get some feedback. There are talented guys throughout your band, not just in the pipe section. There's some talented guys all throughout that band, right? Midsection, these days, super important. To be included, to be involved, to enhance the music, not to be overpowering and to be over the top and crazy.